Ladies and gentlemen, welcome and good morning. I would like to take a moment to thank the Secretary and the whole Motivate team for putting on this talk. Clearly, I'm not here in person today. My fellow presenter, Claudia Joinville, and I requested to be part of Motivate before we knew that each of us had obligations with our families that would prevent us from being here today. Claudia worked with the Motivate team and James Purnell to give us the opportunity to record our presentations in advance, and for that I would like to thank them as well. I really appreciate the willingness of the Motivate team in assisting us in our presentations, but mostly I would like to thank you all so much for taking the time to come together this morning and be motivated and inspired to innovation. As you can see from my slide today, I will be talking about geometry. With a quick show of hands, who here is a friend to Pythagoras? Come on guys, I'm kidding, I can't see your hands. Today, I will actually be talking about a different kind of triangle, specifically delta. Delta is, of course, the geek term for change, specifically embracing and molding positive change in your life. Our esteemed forefather and friend from the North, Ben Franklin, wrote, "Our new Constitution is now established and has the appearance that promises permanency. But in this world, nothing is said to be certain but death and taxes." Of this, by far the most common phrase is the death and taxes portion. But the important thing to be remembered from that is that Benjamin Franklin was actually quoting a different philosopher who in 1726 wrote that same term, death and taxes, in the political history of the devil. Now, in modern politics, has taught us anything, is that those taxes, they are not certain. This leaves us just with death. And death, I would argue, is simply the final change we all experience. Change is ever present, and it's the only constant in all our lives. I would like to encourage all of us to embrace change, and from there, to endeavor to mold that change in a positive direction. There are many ways to motivate someone. In my talk today, I'm going to attempt to motivate you with challenges. My challenge to you today is to reconsider two common conflict points to change and encourage you to look at them from a different and more positive manner. The first conflict point is, that's how we have always done it. You cannot plan a path to positive change without first knowing where you are now and knowing where you have been. Without getting too Disney on us, Moana had it right. We know where we are because we know where we've been, and only then can we know the path forward. Confession time. My wife and I have 3-year-old twins at home. So Disney Plus was a real positive change that recently occurred in my household. As a reflection of this, there was an early draft of this very presentation, this very speech, in which I did the entire thing based off a comparison between Moana and Frozen. Spoiler, Moana wins. Most of you do not have 3-year-old twins, so this is clearly not the best subject matter. However, please consider the person saying, "But that's how we've always done it," is displaying loyalty. Loyalty to a system, loyalty to a path, and a loyalty to our leadership and Team Del Dot. This is not a negative. Please understand that we are here today because it was the right place to be yesterday. Without this understanding, you will never know whether the change you are proposing is a positive one or whether it's just change for the sake of change. Times change. The process created yesterday might not be the right process for today, but it is imperative to consider the forces that drove your predecessors to create the processes of today, because if you do not, the change you propose will be unbalanced and not necessarily a positive one. It behooves us to seek out, embrace and mold our, "but that's how we've always done it" team members to the positive change that we're seeking to create. I'm not telling you that all your teammates will embrace a change or help to create a positive change, but 2 heads are better than 1, and there's truly power in the wisdom of the masses. We can only gain that wisdom if we understand and embrace that talk is cheap. And that is not a bad thing. Cheap is good. You know what's not cheap? What we do professionally. Statistically, the planning and engineering phases of civil and engineering projects in America represent between 10 and 15% of the cost of that project. Put another way, doing is 7 to 10 times more expensive as talking. Talking about, planning for, and designing around future problems is always a cheaper option than doing something and just hoping for the best. Quick caveat. I chose this slide randomly from our website because it says future improvements currently not funded, which plays really well with my presentation, and in no way is a reflection on the projects themselves. Unfortunately, talking is also the negative kind of cheap. The talk itself is of very little value. It is only the listening from which we can gain value. When we have the idea for positive change would make everything better, we tend to become over-focused on this idea and fail to listen to the thoughts and ideas of others. The word listen contains the same letters as the word silent. It takes courage to remain silent and to listen to the ideas of others, and even more, to embrace and change your ideas. In the book and following movie titled Primary Colors, the character, Bill Clinton, had a famous moment in the Democratic primaries in which he was accused of being a yes man who was accepting and promoting others' ideas. The character, Governor Clinton, countered that in fact it is the ideal of a leader to take the ideas of their team and take the good ones and promote them, and to allow the bad ideas to simply die. So my second challenge to you is to listen to the ideas of others and mold your change to either incorporate those ideas or account for their concerns. Doing this allows us to take our good ideas, make it better, and even gives us a shot at having the best idea for the now. Please take a moment to consider a positive change you would like to create in your life. Consider where you are today, where you were yesterday, and what path you need to move forward into that change. While reading a news article online, I stumbled across a U.S. Senator who took a moment to compliment our U.S. Senator Coons by stating that he respects Coons for mastering the art of disagreeing without being disagreeable. For those of you who know me, you know that I have not mastered the art of disagreeing without being disagreeable, as evidenced by the fact that I began this talk today by covering the subjects of one of our most revered forefathers and politics, subjects that a wiser person would have avoided. But the art of disagreeing without being disagreeable is the positive change that I've been working on in my life. But more importantly, what is the change that you are looking to make in your life, in your workspace? Who do you trust to tell you how we have always done things? Who are you going to have the courage to listen to? Remember, failure is always an option. If things are not failing, we are not innovating enough. Esteemed colleagues, I thank you for the opportunity to talk with you today, and remember, embrace change. Mold it to make it the positive change to you and those around you. Thank you.